Hello everyone, here's my review for Lee Cronin's The Mummy. The Mummy is a 2026 horror film that follows the family of Charlie Cannon, a journalist whose daughter goes missing only to return possessed after 8 years. Whenever I review a film or a TV show that's part of a larger franchise, I like to make it clear where I stand with that franchise, because I think sometimes that can give you different perspectives on films. When it comes to The Mummy, I've actually never seen the original 30s film or any of the films that spawned out of that. I've never seen the 50s series. I've seen the 1999 one with Brendan Fraser, and I do quite like it. And I've also seen The Mummy Returns, which I thought was okay. I've never seen the 2017 one with Tom Cruise either. So, relatively speaking, I'm no expert on the Mummy franchise. But, and this feels a bit weird to say, but The Mummy is a bit of an evergreen franchise. I mean, it's been consistently coming out since basically the 30s, with few huge gaps between films. So suffice it to say, The Mummy is not going anywhere. Because for some reason, the Universal Monsters franchises all seem to be getting reboots around this time. Obviously, we just had Wolfman last year. But Lee Cronin's take on The Mummy is fine. It really isn't anything too crazy as a horror film, though, as I understand it, this is the first straight horror film in the franchise, especially contemporarily, because I'm sure a lot of the old films seem kitschy to people by now. This version of The Mummy has some solid body horror, although I say that as a person that does not handle body horror particularly well. Not that I'm covering my eyes in the theater or anything, but it does get me to jump more than other things. But I think the body horror sequences are fairly well constructed in this film. Lee Cronin seems to be the guy to hand off body horror franchise reboot slash sequel slash remakes too, because he also did Evil Dead Rise a couple years ago, which I also found the body horror in that to be quite good. There were scenes in this film that sort of gave the whole theater a collective gasp, so I think what's here will work on most people. I do think this film runs a bit long. It's only 2 hours and 14 minutes, but it definitely gets slow at times. I could have seen this as a mean horror experience at maybe 2 hours flat. But as it stands, the script is technically solid. It's just not particularly interesting. It's pretty standard fare for a horror movie. It seemed for a minute like this film was going to take the cliche modern horror movie route of making the horror an allegory for some societal or personal issue the character has. But then it never really fully commits to it. And as cliche as it would have been to do that, I think I would rather it have fully committed to it. The characters are also fairly basic. They're standard fare for a horror film too. The acting, also just fine. Although there are some moments in this film where it seems to be going in a bit of a comedic direction, which is odd considering the tone. And it's basically any time that Katie opens her mouth. And this is not the actress's fault. She just has some one-liners that are kind of bizarre in the moment. The film also has some creative visual ideas outside of the body horror. The angles and editing techniques keep the film visually interesting. Musically, the film is also pretty neat. Obviously, I can't say whether or not it pulls from previous entries in the franchise, but I thought the themes were effective. Overall, The Mummy didn't do much for me, but I can see some people liking this. Like I said, it's got body horror that will probably work on a lot of people, so if that's your thing, I would say go for it. So with that, I'm going to give The Mummy a 5.8 out of 10. It's a perfectly just, film. But thank you for watching. If you like this review, please check out my other reviews on this channel, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.